What is up, team? Welcome back to the Red Storm Rapid Reaction Podcast. I'm Pat Kane. St. John's just got a 93-79 win over Florida State. Finish up the out-of-conference schedule. And just like Santa Claus, the big boys are coming to town. Now, we got Villanova on deck and the rest of the Big East slate. Sans DePaul at home, probably the second easiest game of the schedule, still to come. So, the cupcakes are in the garbage. We're 10-1, mission accomplished, close to 100% of the way. That Iowa State loss on the road, although perhaps expected, still an opportunity squandered. And we are left with a 10-1 record, 9-1 out of conference. No real big wins, but no losses. I said on Dave's podcast, I Am the Storm podcast, that, the really two ways you can move your net number drastically are by quad one wins and quad four losses. And we have neither. So, at least we avoided tonight a quad four loss against Florida State. You couldn't have seen that one coming before the season. A team that's consistently good, consistently a contender in the ACC. I always have, an NBA prospect or two, and legitimately the biggest team in all of college basketball, maybe aside from Purdue these past 5 to 10 years. They've had some injury issues, some other problems. I think I had a player suspended, and they just have struggled for this year. But they have taken Purdue and Virginia, two top 5 teams, down to the wire. And a team that's much more capable than their 3 and whatever record would lead you to believe. Tonight, St. John's came out with a beautiful offensive first half, I thought. For the most part, we were really under control. We had 48 first half points. We're up by 11 going into the break. Shared the ball well. I thought Jones was really under control, both attacking for himself to finish and had a few drives and dishes as well. Tonight he was, a nice offensive piece. I thought he didn't dominate the ball. He was assertive. He took advantage of his opportunities, and he had very few mental mistakes, I thought. And as a team in the first half, I thought it was maybe our best offensive half we'd seen. Soriano continues to look increasingly more comfortable in the post and drawing attention and finishing for himself. Tonight he was great at the free throw line. Had 10 makes at the line to go along with 23 points and 12 rebounds, another monster game. Curbelo in the first half, I thought, played an amazing floor game. A couple passes to the guys in the corner were just incredible. He had a look-away pass where he looked like he was going to try to feed Soriano the ball in the post, drew the attention of 2 defenders, and found Storr in the corner for a 3 that he buried. He had a couple of the ones that were just as equally as impressive. And a great overall game, I thought, from him, besides a 5 to 6 minute stretch in the second half where it looked like he was uninterested. And we saw some, egregiously lackadaisical plays. And it played a big part in Florida State's ability to shrink that lead and make it a game for a couple minutes there in the second half. Aside from those mistakes, I thought that Curbelo, played a big role in negatively. Florida State had too many open looks from 3. I can see the game plan coming into the game was to, make them beat you where they don't want to beat you. I'm sorry, take away what they're good at. And they are a team that likes to attack inside. So I can see the game plan wasn't, to shut them off completely from the perimeter. But once they get going like that, especially from those 2 guys who were the good shooters, we were allowing them to get much too comfortable. And if they get comfortable from wide open looks, then the not so open looks look increasingly easy for them on their side. It's a snowball effect there, and we let it get out of control for a little while. Still, for the most part, I thought we did a lot of good things defensively. We were really good, loose balls, deflections, causing turnovers on that end. Thought we did a good job hunting down rebounds as a team. Dylan Wusu, forget about his scoring. We'll get to that later. If he didn't make a basket tonight, he still would have had an incredible impact on the game. So many small little steals, deflections, loose balls that he got his hands on, smart, heady plays, taking care of the basketball. A great game by him, and he got going on the offensive end. Let's take a look at the first half team stats. Guys, thanks again for subscribing to the YouTube channel. First half, we were up 48 to 37. We were 5 for 11 from 3. That's a really solid number. That's what got us off to a quick start. I thought Wusu hit a couple of threes, Storr hit a 3. And we were taking smart shots overall, 56% from the field. 7 offensive rebounds. We're doing a good job getting ourselves second and third opportunities. Jones and Soriano especially. Curbelo had a few himself too. And then we won the turnover battle. We win the turnover battle versus teams, and we shoot well from the court. It's going to be hard to beat us. And as you can see there, 11-point lead going to halftime is where we wanted to be. The only negative I thought was that 50% we allowed from 3-point range in the first half. They were 4 for 8, not great quantity. But like I said, you start letting teams get comfortable with wide open looks. Those not so wide open looks will begin to be easier shots as well. So we came out of the second half. We pushed it up to 15 or so points. Again, I thought Wusu was playing well. I thought Stanley had a nice moment or two in each half with an offensive rebound in the first half and a putback, and then a nice dive to the basket. Nice find from Curbelo for a dunk and a finish. Without Soriano on the court, we got to get creative scoring because he has become, rightfully so, a huge gravitational piece of what we do offensively, whether looking to feed him or drawing attention with him just posting up hard. Without him on the court in the second half for a long stretch, you could see we were struggling to get those easy baskets offensively. We got to do things a little bit differently there, junking up, perhaps, look to get on the break a little bit more in those situations, attack the offensive glass. Stanley does a good job in those areas. I like with those two, Soriano and Jones leading us in scoring, I think can be a recipe for us. Obviously, Soriano, we've seen a great improvement from him, and Jones, we know his offensive talent, but with our guards' ability to get people involved, I think it'll be best for those two guys to lead the way scoring. We'll get ancillary and supplementary scoring production from those two guys, Posh and Curbelo, who are both capable of getting double figures, albeit in unique ways. And then you got Mathis, you've got Storer, you've got Wusu, you've got Pinzone, kind of like a cadre of wings who on any given night can give you 10 to 15 points, can do some things for you. We don't have a natural dominant perimeter scorer. I'm not sure if I'd call Jones that. He can score, but like a perimeter wing guy, we'll see some in the Big East, like a Pons, some guy who's just a natural scorer from distance who can create off the bounce and finish going to the rim. Jones is as close as we got. He's capable of scoring, but we kind of have to, do it as a collective unit on our team. And I think defensively and athleticism wise and pressuring the basketball will be more of the staples of our team, and offensively we'll just be a team that, hopefully is able to sneak by without having a pristine looking offense. But I think we're getting better. We saw tonight, when we're sharing the basketball, we've got capable guys who can finish off plays, and we're sharing it well. We're taking care of it. We can score, quite a bit of points. And a 93 against a Florida State team, no matter what they are doing, if it's a good year or a bad year, still 93 points against a Florida State team in Florida, that's something to be, pretty happy about. Let's take a look at the complete game box score. For the game, Soriano led us. He had 23 points, 12 rebounds, another double-double, his nation-leading double-double, 10th double-double, 5 offensive rebounds. That's an awesome number. He's really just a force down there. Guys got to put 2, maybe sometimes 3 bodies on him to keep him off the glass, and he causes a lot of havoc, even if he's not finishing them off with baskets. His counterpart in the front court, Jones, 16 points. What I liked most was the other stuff he brought us tonight. 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, a block, 2 for 4 from 3, a nice efficient night, a good all-around game from Jones. Really good to see. And then the backcourt, Curbelo, 14 points, 6 for 11, good night shooting. He did have 7 assists and 6 rebounds, really chipping in those areas. Only 2 turnovers, but I think, that second half was more than just those 2 turnovers. He was sloppy. He made some poor decisions. It looked like he didn't care for a few of them until he, got refocused and made a couple of great plays to close the game out. When he's on, he is really, really good, and he's a lot of fun to watch. Seems like he, I've said before, really focuses for the important stuff, the big stuff, the games against the good players and the big moments. And he can get a little bit lackadaisical when, the game is a little out of control and not as tight and maybe not as important in that particular moment, which isn't great. We got to work on that. But when he's on, he's on. Posh, 9 points, 4 for 10 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3. I like the fact that he took 3 threes. He's got to be willing to. And 1 for 3 will take that number. 4 assists, 3 steals, was his normal self, being a pest in that backcourt, caused a few turnovers for some easy baskets in that second half. We were, struggling for a few moments to get points in the half court. Pretty good overall game from Posh. Still has yet to really look like himself completely on the offensive end. But if we're getting double-digit wins, there's not much to complain about there. Last starter, Mathis, did not have a great game. It was good to see him back and healthy. 4 points, 1 for 3 from the field, 2 for 2 from the line. That one field goal was a key field goal in the second half, and Florida State was making a run. Mathis had a nice baseline drive and finish that kind of stemmed the tide for a second. And then, of course, he played, good defense for the most part, although he was culpable on a few of those threes that Florida State hit. The bench, got to start with Wusu. Hit 2 threes early, made a bunch of other solid plays, had nothing to do with scoring the basketball, 5 rebounds and assists, some tough plays, a couple guys bounced off him on a few other ones. He had a nice save on the baseline where it looked like there was no way he was going to end up with it on our end. There was that one play where he was just like holding off the Florida State player with his back and one arm while he was grabbing on the ground. He's just, he's a beast. He's a strong kid. Tonight, he was extremely heady. He was slowing it down when we wanted to slow it down. He took good shots. He took good care of the basketball. He had a couple nice passes that didn't lead to assists, but he played great. And this is the type of game from Dylan Wusu that reminds us why he is, in the coach's favor and why he can help us win basketball games. A big physical guard who can do a lot of things. He's always going to get you rebounds. He's always going to have a few assists. He's always going to get his hands on a few, deflections, come up with a few steals. And when he's hot on the offensive end, well, he can really help you out. The 25% he was shooting from 3, I think it's not indicative of the shooter he is. When his feet are set, he's open. I think he's much more, in that 35% range, which is, totally acceptable for an off guard or a wing. Storr, I thought he had another nice night defensively, still not getting many deflections or rebounds, but for the most part, aside from that one drive that the guy, Florida State had him in the baseline where we fouled him going to the rim, I thought he did better keeping guys in front of him. He did bury that 1-3 in the first half. He's a good offensive piece and a guy who's going to help us as we move forward. I firmly believe that. And I want to see more of him, and I want to see his focus to get him some good shots. Stanley, like I said, 4 points, 2 offensive rebounds, limited minutes tonight, but how can you keep Soriano off the floor? The one negative off the bench, Pinzone got in early and he got attacked on the defensive end. Gave up 2 layups and gave up 2 free throws when he fouled the guy driving to the rim. So it was in for maybe 4 to 5 minutes and gave up 6 points on Florida State just attacking him. And that's something that we've seen time and time again. If it's not Soriano who's getting attacked in the pick and roll, it's Pinzone, it's Storr who get isolated on the wing and get driven by. And tonight Pinzone didn't have it offensively. Didn't look like he was very much engaged on the sidelines, unfortunately, in the few glimpses I got. Probably frustrated with the fact he didn't get back in the game. But if you give up 6 points in a close game, early on, it just sets the tone, and it's hard to get back in the game, especially when Wusu and Storr and Mathis are playing well. But it's a long season. We've seen what he can do offensively. We've seen him have an uptick in the tenacity and the physicality department. Hopefully, it continues to improve. But it's going to be a battle. Those 4 guys all year, it's going to be very interesting to see. Wusu, Storr, Pinzone, and Mathis fight it out for those minutes. But I'm much looking forward to it. Team stats to finish out the game. He shot 52% from the field. That's great. 44% from 3 on 18 attempts. That's great. Not as good as what Florida State did on 19 attempts. They were 11 for 19. 58% that it's just not going to get it done. A 14-point game. Who's to say, if us giving up those shots helped us lead up to that game because we took away what Florida State wants to do, which is going to the rim. It might have had a positive effect early, but it definitely gave them the opportunity to come back in the game. If a couple more of those would have dropped, we could have got to a nail-biting situation. Who knows? That's the thing with 3-point shots. A game is never fully out of reach with teams' ability to hit those shots. Not obviously not a great sign giving up those good looks in the second half when they were beginning to make those shots. Free throws. How about that? 19 for 23 as a team. That's 83% from the field. Let's go look that quick. Soriano was 11 for 14 from the free throw line. I misspoke earlier. So a great night from him and a guy who should live at the free throw line. And then the ancillary stuff. 19 assists. That's a great number for us to only 11 turnovers, 19 to 11. That will get the job done. And then another small thing that I wanted to add, 15 fouls from us. We can't have teams living at the foul line. And if we want to apply pressure, length of the court, and we want to play inside the paint, often we're going to need to be selective when we do, have dumb fouls. Like we saw Soriano have a foul 70 feet from the basket in the first half. We got to learn from those in those times where they don't cost us. That's just a freebie. A foul, for one, that Soriano could use. And 2, if they're in the bonus day, you're giving them 2 free points. we're going to foul enough just naturally by applying that pressure. So we've got to be smart and not giving up those dumb ones, those useless ones, those wasteful ones. But not a lot to complain about tonight, guys, honestly. Florida State, better than their record. I firmly believe that. We're 11-1 heading into our second Big East game against Villanova at their place. Not an easy place to win, but this isn't your granddad's or, just our Villanova from years past. And Whitmore's back. He's a hell of a talent, but I like our chances if we play our best basketball. We're going to have to do a lot better job defending three against Villanova. We're going to have to do a lot better job taking care of the basketball. I think they'll probably show that, 1-2-1 diamond, three-quarter court press, kind of mucks it up, won't let our guards get a full head of steams, won't let us get out and break the pace up. But I am thinking of Jay Wright's Villanova. I'm not sure if I've seen Kyle Neptune use that 1-2-1 diamond three-quarter court press. But it'll be interesting to see how they look. I'm looking forward to it. It would be a great opportunity, a great chance to get a nice little token, put that in our pocket, a road win at Villanova to be 2-0 in the Big East, 12-1 on the season, and then maybe suddenly people will start talking about us a little bit more. But for Malik Booth, guys, this has been Pat Kane. Thank you for listening to the Red Storm Rapid Reaction Podcast. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please follow on Apple or Spotify. Peace.